Tonight on Nova, explore the world through Leonard Nielsen's eyes and witness the wonder of the everyday. From a new view of a kiss to a fresh look at a voice to life from the inside. Discover for the first time how Nielsen captures these amazing images. Odyssey of Life concludes with the photographer's secrets. Nova is funded by Merck.
Merck, pharmaceutical research. Dedicated to preventing disease and improving health. Merck, committed to bringing out the best in medicine.
And by Prudential.
Living well isn't about being rich. It's about freedom and independence and taking control of your future. So make a plan. Be your own rock.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting and viewers like you.
The world of Leonard Nielsen is like no other, a world we never really knew until he showed us. For decades, his photographs have introduced us to ourselves, beginning with a human egg cell and millions of sperm. He has shown us our own odyssey, from fertilized egg to embryo, and from embryo to fetus. Working with medical teams around the world, Nielsen has become the premier chronicler of the processes of life. Using special cameras and lenses, he has revealed more of life's secrets than any other photographer. In 1965, Nielsen made history with this photo essay of life before birth. For the first and only time, all 8 million copies of Life magazine sold out. But for years, Nielsen kept his own secrets.
Perfect. Look at the camera now.
Until now, when, for the first time, he agreed to be filmed at work to reveal his special techniques. Techniques that can capture a broken heart, that can take us through arteries, that can show us where billions of blood cells live and die. That can follow the path of a berry through the digestive system. Techniques that can take us down the larynx, toward the vocal cords, and into the windpipe. Techniques that can bring art to science and science to art. There is nowhere, it seems, that Leonard Nielsen cannot go. But how does he do it? How does he reach the inaccessible and photograph the infinitesimal? The first of Nielsen's secrets is a specially designed camera that can film inside the body.
Lennart
Nielsen came to us many years ago, wanting very special lenses. His main criteria was that they had to be extremely small. At the same time, they had to have extreme resolution, a very sharp focus. Fortunately, he came at a good time because we had just started making calculations on computers.
The first lens required a stack of drawings this thick from the computer. But I got my lens. Here's one of them. It has a focal length just over 2 millimeters and produces an extremely sharp picture. With this lens, it's like you're only a couple of millimeters yourself. You can be inside the body, even in a blood vessel, and take a completely normal picture, just as sharp and wide-angled as a normal camera would take. So you get to see everything.
Today, one of Nielsen's special cameras is being used for medical research. The camera is a modified version of a surgical instrument called an endoscope. It consists of a thin steel tube with an advanced system of lenses inside. The first is a tiny lens that captures the image just like any normal camera lens. But then the image travels through a series of special cylindrical lenses. In spite of their length, they deliver a wide-angled image with everything in sharp focus. This is how Nielsen is able to guide us through the body. The first documentary to use Nielsen's endoscopic camera was Nova's Portrait of a Killer, a collaboration between Nielsen and Dr. Jan Lindberg. The film explored the realm of heart disease and stroke. There was a shot of a stroke victim's brain during a post-mortem. And a cross-section image of the brain that highlighted the powerful carotid artery. But the breakthrough was this journey through an artery, without the use of computer animation. Here were the actual deposits of fatty plaque coating the artery walls. As in all his work, Nielsen sought to bring viewers inside the processes of life and death. The menace of cholesterol never seemed more palpable as when the camera moved through another vessel in an advanced state of calcification. As the vessel narrowed, the danger of a blood clot increased, a clot that could block the vessel entirely, cutting off the flow of blood. And finally, the portrait of the killer itself. Coronary thrombosis, a large blood clot blocking an artery that supplied blood to the heart. But how can Nielsen's camera travel through blood vessels? How can one see anything inside an artery filled with blood? The answer is, one can't. So Nielsen filmed an aorta taken from a cadaver. The aorta was being studied by Nielsen's longtime colleague, Jan Lindberg. The sequence was filmed this way. The camera was mounted on a trolley that slowly moved the endoscope forward. Light came from lamps mounted above. And this was the result, a collaboration between medical science and scientific photography.
Lennart Nilsson is really a scientific researcher. His work in many cases has been so explanatory and contributed in a way which led to certain types of investigations that I see him as one of us. He is so incredibly unique. He's a rare mixture of perfectionist and fanatic, combined with an inexhaustible curiosity and tenacity. Lennart is a true scientist.
This is unbelievable to see.
20 years after Portrait of a Killer, Nielsen has commissioned his most remarkable camera yet.
Impossible. You remember 2 years ago.
Bei dem Super-Weitwinkel-Endoskop von Dr. Nielsen haben wir eine stark gewölbte Fläche. Wir haben einen Standard.
Mr. Nielsen's super wide-angle endoscope has a strongly vaulted surface. We took a standard fetoscope and changed the forward lenses. We made new calculations and used a special highly refractive glass with an extremely curved radius.
The endoscope's microscopic lenses had to be ground with extraordinary precision. The smallest ones are only a fraction of a millimeter long.
So the pitch angle here is 160 degrees in liquid. Look at it here.
Warum haben wir diese Linse für Lennart Nilsson gemacht?
Why do we make these lenses for Lennart Nilsson? Because we are convinced of his expertise, and his pictures speak to a great many people. With these instruments, he'll be able to create fantastic pictures.
Nielsen's own odyssey began in Sweden in 1922. His father was an innovator before him, a railroad engineer and inventor. He built his own radio, so Lennart grew up listening to the world. He built a photo enlarger as well, and experimented with cameras. So Lennart grew up seeing the world through a lens and decided to become a photographer. Nielsen's patience was legendary. For months, he photographed the Salvation Army at work. He traveled throughout Sweden to capture the exact moment of salvation. He would go anywhere for a good assignment, even above the Arctic Circle, where he photographed hunters killing polar bears for the fur trade. The orphaned cubs would be sold to circuses and zoos.
Den bilden när isbjörnsmamman var skjuten.
This picture of a fallen polar bear mother and her living cub lying there, hugging its mother, was in a 4-page spread in Life magazine.
Life magazine gjorde 4 sidor. Och det var
The reaction was so intense in the US that a school even closed in protest. When Life came out with the pictures, one reader wrote in, "The Norwegians were good in the war, but these hunters ought to be shot."
Nielsen also became known for his portraits. Artist Henri Matisse, composer Igor Stravinsky, jazz legend Louis Armstrong and his wife, actress Rita Hayworth in Hollywood, and Ingrid Bergman in Rome. Swedish film director Ingmar Bergman, whom Nielsen photographed over the course of 2 years. Tenacity has always been a Nielsen trademark. Here, he posed the entire company of a circus. It took a number of tries in several cities before he was finally satisfied. As Sweden's court photographer, Nielsen has also chronicled the royal family for almost 60 years. The present king, Carl Gustaf, and before him, Gustav VI, and before him, Gustav V in 1949. Nielsen's portraits have found their way onto postage stamps and onto currency. His microscopic portrait of a bee gathering honey. Someday, his work may even be found outside the solar system. His portraits of a fetus are aboard the Voyager space probes. Nielsen first became known for his scientific work in the 1950s. Using a close-up lens and powerful flash, he documented the life of ants from their own perspective. His next project was a book about life at the bottom of the sea. A long line of unique photographs followed. The bones of the inner ear, a cloudy sky as seen by the eye, a section of the human brain, the valves of the heart, a variety of blood cells. Some of his most famous shots were taken with a scanning electron microscope, another of the photographer's special techniques. This is a 70-million-year-old flower, less than 1/10 of an inch long. Nielsen's scanning electron microscope can magnify up to 450,000 times. Instead of using light to illuminate these bacteria, it uses electrons. Inside the microscope, a small laser bombards the subject with a stream of electrons. The reflected particles are then read by a computer. Although the image is black and white, a special technique can add color later.
It's just as exciting working with a scanning electron microscope as it is getting great shots at a football game or covering a really important story.
This is a typical dendritic cell. As you can see, it's a bit larger than the lymphocytes up here. And it has these large appendages, which can often stretch out very long.
To sit with a researcher, when he says, for example, here's a structure, why don't we try so-and-so? Why don't we tilt the slide so we'll see it from the other side, and then maybe we'll see something that will contribute a great deal to my studies. That is very gratifying.
Nielsen's scanning electron microscope is among the most powerful in the world. It can image viruses which are 1/10,000th of a millimeter.
His eyes are so good that many times when we technicians were satisfied with something, he wasn't. And every time we were forced back to find new solutions. And we did.
For achievements stretching over decades, Lennart Nielsen has received photography's highest awards. His work has been exhibited in dozens of countries and appeared in dozens of books.
Like your music, like a violin.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
And, Mr. Altman,
I am a photojournalist and I record with cameras what is happening. He's a combination of a great photographer with the background and the interests of a scientist. That's an unbeatable accomplishment.
Lennart Nielsen has blurred the boundaries between art and science, I think it can be fairly said, and performed a miracle of his own in making the invisible visible. Through his lens, human biology becomes marvelous abstract art.
As an artist, Nielsen's reputation is secure. But he will always be remembered most as the man who revealed the miracle of life before birth.
In 1952, a Swedish photographer walked into the offices of Life magazine to sell his pictures of Dag Hammarskjöld. While he was there, he showed the editor images for another possible piece, tiny bottles containing human embryos barely half an inch long. 40 years later, Lennart Nielsen is being recognized here tonight for his unique contribution to our understanding of ourselves.
I remember that day at Life very well. They said, there's only one way. Surprise us. The world closest to yourself. Try to reveal it in a new way, and we will love it. For some reason, we are going to do the fetus, the embryo, in order to show how early we become humans. We visited Professor Axel Engelmann Sundberg, at that time chief physician at the Sabbatsberg Hospital. He loaned us a fetus, which was used in teaching. It had lain in formaldehyde for many years. I took close-ups and was amazed that they were so human, so early in their development. Then I had the opportunity to work with what is known as tubular pregnancies. I received phone calls from doctors at all hours of the day for many years, just in order to get a picture of an embryo inside a fallopian tube.
Den tid då jag gjorde de allra bästa bilderna på embryot och jag fick till och med fotografera 64 på Danderyds sjukhus.
I also photographed in 1964 at a hospital the world's first portrait of a fetus, alive in the mother's uterus.
Levande i livmodern.
Determined to explore further the world of life before birth, Nielsen and his colleagues produced Nova's Miracle of Life, with one stunning image after another. A 6-week-old embryo floating inside the amniotic sac. A 7-week-old embryo 3/4 of an inch long, its limbs and organs already developing. Its tiny fingers able to move. Nielsen followed the path of growth from week to week. At 7 weeks, the eye lenses were formed. At 8 weeks, the skull bones were growing together. The fingers were well defined, along with the toe joints. At 10 weeks, the embryo was considered a fetus, and Nielsen was there for the graduation picture. Viewers could see the marked increase in movement, the beginnings of the ears, the vestiges of a tail. Nielsen's countdown continued. 11 weeks. 12 weeks, still only 3 inches long. 13 weeks. 14 weeks, able to bring its hands together and even suck its thumb. 15 weeks, its sensory organs almost fully developed. 16 weeks, able to turn itself around. And then, finally, the most famous image of all. An 18-week-old fetus filmed inside its mother's womb. It was only 5.5 inches long and could not survive outside its mother's body. And yet its mouth and lips were fully formed. Its eyes were closed, and yet it could see. It moved constantly about in the amniotic fluid, which was filled with nutrients. This sequence was filmed at the request of an obstetrician, with the full consent of the mother. Neither the fetus nor the mother was in any way harmed. But hundreds of millions of viewers were able to watch in rapt fascination. There was the umbilical cord, the fetus's vital link to its mother. And its sex organs already forming. And then there was that hypnotic sound as the fetus took in amniotic fluid through its mouth and then breathed it out again. A sound we all made, a shape we all shared, strangely unfamiliar until Lennart Nilsson took us back. Even after the miracle of life became a worldwide phenomenon, Lennart Nilsson continued to refine his techniques. For years, many wondered how he achieved such perfect timing that he could film images like this egg cell at the precise moment of fertilization. The secret was to film under controlled conditions, in the lab, in a small container, under a microscope. In reality, the egg and surrounding fluid were colorless. But when light was refracted through a series of polarizing lenses in the microscope, the image was transformed. From this to this. Nilsson's genius lay not only in capturing an image, but also investing it with the drama it deserved.
Jag kommer ihåg när vi för första gången placerade en mogen äggcell.
I remember the first time we placed an egg cell together with the sperm, and how the egg slowly began to move, and after a while, to turn counterclockwise. Time stood still.
Tiden nästan stilla.
But perhaps Nilsson's most effective technique is his charm. When he first asked opera star Birgit Nilsson if he could film her vocal cords, she declined, saying, "I happen to know where your little camera has been." But in the end, the photographer got his way. Now all Birgit Nilsson has to do is sing with an endoscope in her mouth. After some good-natured complaining. And this is what a pair of world-famous vocal cords looks like in action. Nilsson's endoscope is seldom idle. Here, it's used to film a kiss.
Okay. Kiss me one and kiss me twice. Kiss me more again. Vi får ta det där igen. Harrys ljus alltså. Ja. Lite grann att vi får det här platt, för det tror jag är bra, va? Den är så vid, det går ut så här. Ska du göra någonting med det?
You should also do something with your hands, not just come straight at it.
Vi ska fråga Harry.
Harry, what do you think about Lisa doing something with her hands?
Där är det, ja. Där, in.
From this angle, it's just another normal kiss with a mouthful of endoscope.
Kyssen, öppna munnen där. Nej, ja.
But this is the Leonard Nielsen version.
Tiden är dyrbar, men jag har aldrig tänkt så. Många människor-
Time is money, they say.
Jag tänker tvärtom.
But that is never the way I think.
Det viktiga är ju...
The result is what counts.
Jag har lärt mig det under alla år som jag var engagerad på Life.
During the years I've been working with Life magazine, I've learned never to talk about how expensive it is or how hard it is.
Tala inte om kostnader.
Just do the best you can.
In 1992, Life magazine published Nielsen's forensic study of a royal death which occurred 350 years ago.
Coming out. Here we have the blood clot, and it came out, so here we have the cells, and this is an air bubble.
The evidence included hair fibers, blood cells, pollen, and even trapped air bubbles from the 17th century. They all came from the coat of a Swedish king fallen in battle. This is the bullet hole. The king, Adolphus II, was killed by a German soldier in the Battle of Lützen in 1632.
One very interesting picture is that one. This revealed.
Nielsen had brought the 17th and 20th centuries together with a section of the king's genetic code superimposed on his portrait.
Put it here. And have a face. Here we are looking at
Nielsen has been working with Life magazine editors for 50 years.
in a stripe. And this is the king's jacket. This is a part of the king's hair.
How are you able to determine the pollen from? How did you determine which tree it was from?
I know because I have been working a lot with pollen earlier. So this is from a pine. I don't know what kind of pine, but it's a pollen from a pine in Lützen, 1632.
It's unbelievable.
The 6th of November. So everything was packed in,
Mhm.
during the coagulation process.
Not the hair fibers, the pollen,
Yeah,
the air
everything.
pollution, everything from
In few
1632.
seconds,
It's
few
unbelievable.
seconds.
Unbelievable.
2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, not longer, and pack it together. So we are very proud to do this, what I can call it for a kind of investigation too.
What did they do with the actual air that was trapped in the blood clots?
We haven't checked it yet, but
it's
some
actually-
scientists, I have got some letters and telephone calls from the scientists. And there is at the University of Lund in the southern part of Sweden, there are some experts. And they want to, we hope in the future, try to check the air bubbles.
But they were
from this-
actually able to preserve
Oh,
that
yes.
air.
Yeah, I think so. This is something.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You've
And,
got to lead me. You've got to guide me
Yeah.
because I can pick out something that I think is quite beautiful.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
yes, I'll understand that it's the air bubbles or it's the strand of hair or
Right,
whatever. But you've
mhm.
got to tell me if there's anything else here that you feel is very important scientifically that I wouldn't be
Yeah.
aware of.
I will go
You've got
through
to. You've got
everything.
to make sure we
Mhm.
see that.
All right,
You're
shall we put
absolutely.
all
We
them
should take it
together? and
all and take it into the layout room
Yeah.
and lay it all out
Perfect.
so that we can.
That's good. Thank you.
Back in Stockholm, Nielsen began work on this series, Odyssey of Life. Many of the series' most extraordinary images were taken here, in his laboratory at the Karolinska Institute.
Vi ska ta bort.
Sometimes it took weeks, even months, to photograph a single sequence. Nielsen's ability to experiment endlessly with lighting, to wait patiently for the best moment to film, developed over
Jag
decades.
lärde mig hur ljuset vandrar I vattnet. Va?
I learned how light moves in water. Most light comes from above. I learned how to use small spotlights to create a light which has character and mood, not just flat, unemotional light.
Du, flytta lampan lite mer fram. Där.
There is literally nothing that Nielsen has not tried to improve upon. He can spend an hour finding the right place for a specimen. And hours more adjusting his camera. This is what it took to get a close-up of a foot for a sequence about waterborne parasites.
Nu ska vi flytta vårt preparat lite grann. Lite längre. Stopp ett tag. Gå inte ner, längre fram. Stopp där får jag se. Då flyttar jag kameran över tag.
Film shot in Africa with film shot in Stockholm. For Lennart Nielsen, 2 locations are always better than 1. Many of his favorite sequences were filmed in the Swedish countryside. Here he gets down to earth, literally, to film the snail and the giant.
Där har vi den.
The secret behind many of his nature shots is the endoscope's ability to keep both the foreground and background equally sharp. Because the endoscope requires a great deal of light, tiny spotlights are also used, even on a sunny day.
Då kör vi, nu!
The actors are ready.
Ingen kan se hur stor...
No one can see how large this beetle really is. It might be as big as a dinosaur, thanks to the fact that everything is in focus, just as sharp as if I was using a macro lens. But I get the surroundings in focus as well. It's an exciting and new way in photography.
Det finns inte en verklighet.
There are many realities.
Myran ser världen.
The ant sees the world from its own point of view.
Det är så här, killar, att den här får inte...
Should you ask the ant how big the world is, it would probably say, the world reaches all the way to the next anthill, but not any further.
Världen räcker fram till nästa stack.
That's the reality of the world the ant lives in.
Det är myrans tänkande, va?
For Nielsen to be satisfied, a shot must challenge the way we see life. This is a conventional close-up of a bee gathering nectar. And this is the Nielsen version.
För det är en fisheye som du vet man får med hela interiören. Där.
First, a tulip is turned into a stage.
Håller du den? Så, och i. Här.
Next, a number of lenses are tried. Then the tulip is coated with honey and water to keep the bee occupied.
Så. Underbart. Så. Och honung behöver inte idag.
The star is inside the matchbox, cooled with dry ice to slow him down.
Ja. Älskling, nu går du in där. Tack för det. Vi ser vad som händer.
The rest of the cast waits for his cue. This is how it looks through the camera. Until the bee hears of a better part.
Tom. Okej, vi har två till. Okej, ja.
But much of Nielsen's work has never been seen by the public. He takes countless pictures for medical research, like these images of blood vessels. He has even been asked to film the HIV virus for the Swedish Bacteriological Laboratory. All possible safety precautions are taken. This specimen was taken from a patient dying of AIDS. The syringe is emptied into the microscope's chamber. Photographs are being taken of the virus at regular intervals to create a time-lapse film.
Då tar vi en bild per minut här, Lasse.
These are lymphocytes, white blood cells that attack invaders in the body. But the lymphocytes themselves have been invaded by HIV.
Jag tror att Lennart Nilsson har varit en mycket viktig.
I think Leonard Nilsson has been an important messenger between the scientific world and the public. He's used his language of pictures to clarify and expose the most fascinating things of the human body, while at the same time finally awakening a curiosity in people, even the youth, to know more. He's pressed the envelope of photographic boundaries, always staying at the edge of the impossible, heightening the fantasy. Some have said that his pictures are too beautiful. I don't think that biology can be too beautiful.
Jag tycker att allt liv ska ha sin chans. Det är också
I think all life should have its chance.
att tala om för oss.
I also think it's important to realize that we humans shouldn't be so snobbish after all.
På samma sätt som vi, va?
We've all started in the same way. We need to have respect for animals, even the snake and the frog.
Nielsen spends as much time as possible at his summer cottage with his wife, their children, and grandchildren. He is always in motion. His work is his life, and he never stops working. There is always another opportunity to make the ordinary seem extraordinary. There is always another chance to learn. Today, the explorer of the inner cosmos is looking outward.
Jag vill filma hur himlakropparna vandrar.
I want to film how heavenly bodies move.
Det är bara det.
I want to see the movement.
Alltså, månen är äggcellen.
The moon here
Nästan.
is an egg cell, slowly wandering.
Allting går i uniform.
Familiar shapes in new forms.
Ser ut som en planet, tycker jag.
The egg cell looks like a planet. I've always thought that. Its round shape, a planet floating in space.
For Leonard Nielsen, everything is related, bound together by the odyssey of life. He seeks a vision of immortality in a journey that transcends us all. We see ourselves. We see the past. We see the future.
Bravo! Jättebra! Haha! Ja, ja.
Leonard Nielsen has dedicated his life to life itself.
Take a closer look at the technology that's given us a closer look at ourselves. Zoom in to NOVA online at pbs.org. To order this show for $19.95 plus shipping and handling, call 1-800-255-9424. And to learn more about how science can solve the mysteries of our world, ask about our many other NOVA videos.
Okay. Kiss me one and kiss me twice. Again, vi får ta det där igen. Lite grann att vi får det här platt, för det tror jag är bra. För att det ser bilden går ut så här. på sidan, på den andra sidan. Där. Sakta, sakta, sakta. Där då. Kyssen, där hörnet där då. Nej, ja.
Nova is a production of WGBH Boston. Nova is funded by Prudential.
Living well isn't about being rich. It's about freedom and independence and taking control of your future. So make a plan. Be your own rock.
And by Merck.
Merck, pharmaceutical research. Dedicated to the needs of an aging society. Merck, committed to bringing out the best in medicine.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting and viewers like you.
This is PBS.
The original television soundtrack recording from this series is available on CD. The price is $16.98 plus shipping and handling. To order, call 1-800-255-9424.